Hey guys, how's it going? It's Goose here with another video. This is going to be a Guild Wars 2 Thief leveling guide. I'm going to be showing you guys what I did and what tricks and tips I used while leveling. In the beginning, I'm going to be more just generally talking about leveling in general and what to do and what not to do. And then later on in the video, I'm going to show you the traits and utilities that I used, and also how to engage mobs and veterans with the build that I had to help you guys out. All right. All right. So starting out, I right off the bat, I did not use PvP or World vs. World at all to level. You know what? I didn't think it was very effective way in leveling and gearing up and stuff like that. So I kind of didn't do it at all. What I actually focused on was questing and completing zones. Now, when you enter a zone, a lot of people kind of follow this linear path where they start at one zone and they go directly into the next zone right afterwards. So you go from like 1 to 15 to 15 to 25 to 25 to 35. And the thing is that when I was doing that, I kept hitting a lot of like roadblocks. Like I would get to a part in that zone and I wouldn't be able to complete it because it was too high a level and it was too hard. I felt like there wasn't enough quests and experience for me to level up in certain zones. So after the 1 through 15 zone, I just went to another 1 through 15 zone and I leveled up that way. And once I hit the max level in, that would be like, let's say, so I did the next 1 through 15 zone and I got to level 20, 23 or something, or 22 or something like that. Then I would go back to the 15 through 25 zone and I wouldn't really have a problem. And also when I was any zone I went to, I made sure that I completed it 100%. I did everything there was, and that gives you a bunch of experience. Also, when you're in these zones and you see an event nearby, always do it. You should never not do an event. Events are great for experience, getting some cash, getting some karma and stuff like that. Um, and if you ever feel stuck at a zone or anything like that, what you can do is also do your storyline. I always save my storyline for points where I'm in a zone and I don't feel like I have enough level, or I'm not a high enough level to complete the zone because the mobs might be a little too high. I either go to a different zone or I'll do my storyline, because the storyline will give you some of those extra points and they really will help you out with just getting that extra level to doing what you need to do. Another way to level up is crafting materials. I know a lot of people, when they get crafting materials, they just sell them in the auction house to get gold. But the thing is that if you just hold on to them until you're level 80 and you use those to just craft materials, it'll also help you, give you that little edge just to level up, just to help you complete zones in that way too. And you can also sell them and make a little money in the auction house doing that, selling the materials that you've made. Now, when you're thinking about gear, it doesn't really matter what kind of gear stats you have. I mean, personally, I went for power and vitality. I always swapped out gear just to get closer to my level. It doesn't matter if the gear was more vitality based over power. I just always put on gear that was closest to my level, and I honestly didn't see a problem with it at all. I didn't have problem killing mobs or anything like that. It was, my leveling went pretty smooth, like regardless of what stats I had on my gear. So I don't think gear really plays that much of a role when leveling, but I did mainly focus on power and vitality when I could. Other than that, I didn't really think it mattered. And the weapons I was using were a sword main hand and a pistol offhand with a short bow on the swap. So those were the gear I was using, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, just remember, stats don't really make everything, but they can help a little bit. All right, so looking at my traits. Okay, so for when I was leveling, I had 30 in deadly arts, 10 in critical strikes, and 30 in acrobatics. Now, I first went into deadly arts. I would go 10 deadly arts, 10 acrobatics, 10 deadly arts, 10 acrobatics. Then I went 10 deadly arts, 10 critical strikes, and then 10 acrobatics. The reason why I like to have 30 acrobatics was just for that little bit of extra health, a little more survivability when trying to go about killing mobs and stuff like that. So in my deadly arts, I had Sundering Strikes, Backfighting, Panic Strike, Pistol Mastery, Vigorous Recovery, Assassin's Reward, and Hard to Catch. Now, you can, if you don't like Hard to Catch, you could also have on Quick Recovery. That is also a good one to also have. And even if you guys want to change these around, it's fine. You know, these really don't matter that much when you're leveling. When you're leveling, the game is very open-ended as to what you want to do to leveling. It's not too hard to go about doing it. Okay, now to my utilities. When I was leveling up, I like to use Signet of Malice, Caltrops, Shadow Refuge, Signet of Shadows, and Thieves Guild. Now, Signet of Malice was good in combination with this because if you have multiple mobs attacking you, you could use this and it would increase the amount of health you were regaining when you were attacking these mobs. So you can take on more than one mob in the end. You don't always have to go 1v1, which is what a lot of people end up doing if they go dagger on their leveling for a thief. I like to go more broad, more survivability, and I always also like to kill mobs a little faster, which aided in my leveling up a little faster too. So these two in combination were very good, because this would do more AoE damage on top of my cleave with my pistol whip, which would down them faster, and it would also give me more health. Shadow Refuge was kind of more of a fallback if I needed to gain health, or if I wanted to get away from a mob, or if I wanted to pass through mobs, skip a bunch of mobs, and just go right for the veteran in the back for the skill point or something like that. So Shadow Refuge is very useful in that sense, and so was Signet of Shadows. It has the 25% increase in movement speed, and also the blinding effect if you also needed that little extra help to get out of it. Thieves Guild was also great when going up against veterans or mobs that were maybe a little too high for you. It helped take the aggro off of you, so you could focus on just killing the mob as fast as possible instead of having to worry about surviving them and stuff like that. Alright, so coming up on these mobs here, what I like to open with is either this one, Infiltrator's Strike, or Steel. Doesn't really matter which one you use, or you don't even have to use either one. Infiltrator's Strike kind of helped because you could also back out and teleport back to where you were if you ever got into some trouble. So I think I'm just going to open up with Steel right now. Open up with Steel, hit him, drop Black Powder, and then go into this. Drop the AoE, and then just go right into damaging. As you can see, I might have two mobs on me, but I'm not even taking any damage because they're not really doing much damage anyway, but I'm also gaining health from attacking them with my cleave damage from my sword. Now I'll try it the other way with Infiltrator's Strike right here. Get up here, start attacking both of them. I don't have my AoE open right now. I'll just open right up into this. If I'm taking too much damage, I'll drop this, get some invisibility, wait for some of these initiative to come back, and then go right back into Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip is probably the best attack for thieves to be using because it stuns them and it also does a lot of damage. It's very, very useful. Alright guys, so let's have some fun down here. Alright, so we have a bunch of these mobs and a veteran. Let's try and see if we can take all these guys out. Taking out my short bow, pulling them all in. Alright, so now I'm going to open up with Steel. Now I'm going to drop Black Powder, drop the AoE, and then hop right into Pistol Whip. Now Pistol Whip is going to be increasing my health because I'm attacking more than one mob, which is really great. And also it stuns the mob. Now at this time, if I was having trouble with a veteran, I would drop Thieves Guild. But because right now I'm not really having any trouble, I'm not going to. But if you were having trouble, you would drop Thieves Guild and it would make the battle 10 times easier. Alright, this guy has a lot of health. Yeah, you guys get the point of what I was trying to do. Alrighty. Perfect. Alright guys, so here's another example of fighting a veteran now. Okay. So, I'll drop Black Powder again. Drop my AoE. Summon the thieves. and just get right into it. Do a steal, keep him inside the AoE, and as long as you keep damaging him, you're going to be regaining health. And also, as you can see, we're going to be throwing on a bunch of these. And it's really easy as that, guys. I mean, you shouldn't really have much trouble fighting any mobs, really. Even with large groups, as long as you have decently similar leveled gear as yourself, and you just keep focusing on using black powder in there when you need to go stealth to regain some health and stuff like that, you guys should be fine.